You're very patient, Stormy.
Are we live?
Oh, we're live? Okay. You got me and Stormy?
Yeah.
Okay. You have Nellie?
No.
Okay. Nellie's standing by down here. Okay, so welcome. We finally got all the glitches figured out of our on our Facebook. We're out here in the barn, and so sometimes our internet's a little sketchy, and things don't work the same as they do when you're inside somewhere. So it's been a while since we've done one of these Facebook Live things, and so we've got a lot of other stuff going on that we're working on, videotaping stuff, and so we thought we should take the time to do another Facebook Live, and I thought, well, why don't we do a mini event and work on a tiny horse? So that's what we're doing. It's a Facebook Live mini event. I guess this is Stormy. Stormy's 10 years old, and she belongs to a lady nearby who has a boarding facility, and this is her child's pony. And Stormy's pretty cool because she's very patient. She works with kids a lot, and she's cute. Most ponies are cute. So I guess what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start working on her and do the Bladder Meridian and do just go through the moves. It doesn't take as long on a small horse usually, so we'll just see what happens. I'm going to start down here. Okay, sweetheart, and we'll see if you can see your eyes. She's a black or dark horse is sometimes hard to see, but I'm going to start with the Bladder Meridian, and I'm just assuming everybody knows what that is, I hope. I'm going to start right up here behind the ear. Well, she's licking and chewing right away, and I'm going to we got a little bit of a release there. I'm going to just keep going. I'm just barely touching the hair, or there we got a blink, okay? Now, it's not just a blink, but there's a change in behavior. She's feeling something I'm just touching the hair, but she's feeling something. It's not just a blink. She moved her head a little bit. So I'm going to search around this spot right there. Search around again, hair by hair, and find it right there, and just stay there. Now, this is the fidgeting part. Stay with me, sweetheart. They'll start to fidget before they release. Stay up here, sweetie, because it's a little uncomfortable when you find something that they naturally just block it out. So she's wondering what's going on here. Just stay with it. Stay with it. Yeah. So it's comforting her a little bit to nuzzle me, so she'll lick and chew a little bit, which is good. Now I'm going to stay a little longer just to see what's here, okay? Just stay a little longer. It's okay, sweetheart. I'll search around again here. So we've got a few licks and chews. So I'm just going to keep going. And I'm going to look for a very definite blink, a very definite big blink. And if I'm not sure, I'll go back over it, spot right there. I went back and forth over that a couple times and got a blink. I'd actually no, she's feeling something there, I'll stay here. The question, there we go. Question comes up a lot. Well, should you stay or move on? The answer is yes, all right? If you feel like staying a little longer, stay and see what happens. If you feel like moving on, move on. And you can come back to it if you need to, right in here. We're getting quite a few blinks, so I'm going to stay right in here. And with my other hand, I'm just keeping her head in the neighborhood. I'm not making her hold still, but I just want to keep her in the neighborhood because they will wander off if you find something that's a little uncomfortable. I'm going to move on. Oh, right here is a definite. That was a squint. You're very cute. I'm going to search around this area for that little squint again, and if I can find it, good. Kind of as a general rule of thumb, because the question comes up a lot, how long should you stay? It's stay till you feel like it's time to move on and wait 20 seconds more. Because often something will show up if you just wait a little longer. Now we're getting lots of blinks through here. I'm going to stay right here. And I'm barely touching the hair. And if any questions come up that have to do with this here, I can answer them while we're waiting. Bladder Meridian's
I'm going to move the camera in closer.
Okay. We're going to move the camera in a little closer. Yeah. And I can turn her a little more sideways if we need to. Step a little sideways. Good girl. I'm going to continue on down here, okay? I'm going to continue on down over the withers. She's a little bit, what's that thing over there? What's that three-legged thing right here?
Jim, I have a question.
Yeah?
Can the bladder meridian be used on its own for pain relief? And if are there any contraindications for this method?
Yeah, the bladder meridian can be done anytime. It's really good for the horse releasing internal tension that it's been holding on to. And I can't think of any contraindication other than infectious or contagious diseases or skin conditions, other than COVID. Other than anything that you might carry to another horse, the horse will tell you if you can't do it. If you go to do the bladder meridian, the horse absolutely pins its ears right in here. I'm staying. And the horse just, it's so uncomfortable for the horse that you can't do it. Then that's the contraindication. That's the contraindication. Now, I mean, having said that, I'm going to continue on over here with her. But having said that, sometimes the horse is so sore that they can't handle this. Now she's starting to relax behind a little bit. If I were to go up to her now and she pinned her ears when I got to a spot and told me that made it really uncomfortable, I would back away until she stopped pinning her ears, and then slowly go and stay at that distance. Just go at a distance that they can handle. But if they can't handle anything, then there's something going on that that you need to wait. Okay. I would be a little concerned right in here. I'd be concerned if I couldn't do the bladder meridian on a horse, that there's something going on that we would need to look into. I'm going to stay right in this area. Right, I'll just search hair by hair, keep the blink right there. Okay. That's right behind your shoulder blade. It's right, we get it right between the shoulder blades at the back of the scapula. We get I've got a knot there now from holding this lead rope. But do I get anybody doing the bladder meridian on me? No. Stormy gets all the attention. We're going to stay a little longer. Her head's dropping. I'm backing off a tiny bit more, maybe a half an inch away from the hair, just to see what happens. It's always an experiment.
Question?
Uh-huh.
Would this be beneficial in providing relief for a horse with severe allergies?
I don't. You would try it. You have to try it.
You want to repeat the question?
Oh, would this be beneficial for a horse with severe allergies? And I don't know if you mean skin allergies or something systemic like snorting and sneezing or sniffling and running. If you're not sure, you just try it. I don't think it's going to harm anything to try this with the horse. There, she's relaxing behind now. She just let go something. She dropped her head, she licked and chewed, she gave me a little pretend nibble, and then she relaxed behind. So that's the value of patience. And for allergies, I always say just try it and see what the horse says. What it might do is make the horse more comfortable overall. I don't think it's going to necessarily cure an allergy. But if a horse when horses are really uncomfortable, they compensate and tense up with their postural muscles, with their core muscles. When they're physically uncomfortable, they tense up inside. And this is a really good method of releasing that postural and core muscle tension, the bladder meridian. Because you're not manipulating anything, you're not putting any pressure on the horse, you're just bringing the horse's awareness to something and long enough that their parasympathetic nervous system will start to relax it and release it. So it will help with that. Now, it also, any kind of body work helps with circulation, and circulation is what heals things in horses. So from that perspective, it might help the whole system, and it might help with circulation. But if there's ever any question, especially with the bladder meridian, it's I can't think of any situation where you shouldn't use it if the horse if the horse agrees. Right in here in her lumbar, her head came up a little bit. So I'm going to answer a question before it comes up. Can you change hands? Yeah, you can change hands if your arm gets tired. I'm going to
Can you talk about dealing with a horse who twitches skin while doing the bladder meridian?
Yeah, so horses that twitch, and it happens a lot when you get to this area of the horse, because this is where they twitch to get rid of flies. If they start to twitch, just give them a little more contact, because that twitching might be triggered by what their body might think it's a fly. So just give a little more contact, and sometimes you'll stay with more contact, I usually just give them enough contact to let them know that it's not that I'm not a fly, in case they haven't noticed, and then back off again to where where the level of pressure that I want to use. But if they keep twitching, just give them a little more contact. Now, when I got to her lumbar area here, you saw her head go up and she got a little bit nervous. So I'm going to stay here a little longer. Now you can use your fingertips, use the whole palm of your hand. Actually,
what is the level of pressure you're using?
Air gap. I'm barely touching the hair. If this was like magnified hair, I'm just barely touching the hair like that back here. And we'll stay a little longer. You can use your fingertips or you can use your palm. Experiment. See what she gives there. I'll use my palm for a second and see what happens. I'm just barely touching the hair. And she's pretty wild. You know, I apologize because we got such a wild horse there. Calm down, Stormy. You're embarrassing me. I'll keep going. See what happens. You can't do this wrong. The more you practice, the more better you can do it. But you can't do this wrong unless you're just pushing on the horse and rubbing on the horse and not being patient. So I'm going to search around in this area. This is the sacral lumbar junction. There we go to the other side. She's relaxing the other side. This is where the lumbar spine and the sacrum join together. So this is, a lot of people have sacroiliac problems, and horses do too. So I'm going to just search in this. I'm right in the middle. You don't have to stay on the bladder meridian, okay? While I'm here, I'm going to go right in the middle on the sacroiliac, or the sacral lumbar junction here, and search around in that area. It's search, response, stay, release. I'm going to switch arms again. Okay, and search in this area. So she's not a big licker and chewer and yawner. This might come out, you know, at some point. She'll let it all out. But she does blink, and she does drop her head. You can see her eyes soften and her lips twitch. So we'll go by those responses. And then she'll all of a sudden, she did it already, she'll all of a sudden kind of pick up her head and then relax, swap legs behind. So there's an internally, she's released something, and she's relaxing on the other side now. So go by whatever sign she tells you. It's not all yawning and licking and chewing. There we go. Sorry, I'm just on a spot right here in the middle of her, on the top line, on a spot where she blinked a couple times and dropped her head. Right. So I'm going to zero in on it right here. Okay, I'm ready for that next question.
How long after completing the bladder meridian should you wait before you ride or compete on your horse?
If you don't spend 45 minutes doing this, then your horse won't be completely, you know, wiped out, you know, tired or relaxed. So if you, sorry, I'm swatting. That's me swatting at flies, princess. I guess the answer to that is if you don't spend a lot of time on it. Here, she's fidgeting now, so we're getting ready to let something go. There, she's fidgeting. She wants to let something go. If you were to spend 45 minutes doing the bladder meridian on your horse, and then you got on your horse and rode, there might be something that's not, she feels different, and she might feel more energetic, or she might feel more relaxed. So if you're going, turn a little bit, come on, move around a little bit. Come on, move that end. Good girl. So the answer to that is you can do it before you get on the horse. A lot of people do it before they ride because it relaxes the horse. But if you get on the horse and the horse is more energetic, then you know next time that's not the result you want.
My horse walks away when I get to the hind end, and I typically don't have anyone to hold her. Any suggestions?
Get someone to hold her. Well, here's the thing. If you get to the hind end, there's something going on back there, and when you bring her attention to it, she's going to want to walk away. So you either have to walk with her, or you have to tie her, or have somebody hold her. I prefer to just tie the horse loosely, because when somebody's holding the horse will often mess with them. And if you tie the horse, often when the horse is tied, or you loop the lead rope over something, the horse thinks they're tied, they'll stop walking away. So if you want to get the work done on that area, you're going to have to keep the horse from walking away. One way or another, because the horse is actually telling you something. The horse is telling you it's a little uncomfortable back there. So if you want to help the horse release that tension and become more comfortable, then you'll have to be able to do the work. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. One, you're bringing the horse's attention to something that's uncomfortable, but you have to do that in order to get the horse to release it. So.
No questions so far.
Okay, I'm going to keep going. I've been in this area here. And I'll just search around just for fun here. Search, response, stay, release. Okay, we're going to continue on down the bladder meridian, down the rump. There's little changes here. She's looking at me here like, hey, I'm feeling something there. Okay, so now one thing, the last question that you might try is when you get to the point at the hind end where the horse walks away, if you don't want to tie the horse or you don't have someone to hold it, if you get to the point where the horse walks away, back off a little bit. Just back off a little bit like this. I'll just pretend. Just back off till the horse stops walking, and then slowly come back in. And if you see the horse start to shift its weight to walk, back off again, and find that distance from the horse that you're doing it, that the horse is comfortable with. But the thing is, they usually, just before they release, they start to fidget, and she'll want to walk off just before she releases. She might release when she walks off, she might lick and chew, or she might not. Depends on the horse. Some horses are really good at walking away before they release. So, but you can experiment with going slower or backing off a little bit until you get the blink. And it might be a little more comfortable for the horse, and you might get more done if you can't tie the horse. We're going down here. Right here at the top of the hamstring, she's giving me the look. And I'll stay here just to see if anything's going to happen. And we're going to continue on down the back of the leg, down the groove between the hamstrings.
So Stormy is really a complying patient, but how do you decide to stay in an area or not if you begin to get, trigger their fight or flight response?
Well, you don't want the...
I think you just answered that.
Yeah, I think that's the answer to the question is you can back off if you feel like you're getting to a spot. We'll use the hock for an example, because a lot of times if a horse has sore hocks, you don't know they have sore hocks. When you get down to the hocks as you're doing the bladder meridian, they'll pick up their hind leg like it's uncomfortable, like they're telling you to stop it because it's uncomfortable. Now, if they can't, if you're not holding them or they're not tied, then they can leave. But I work on them so that I can work on them. You know, they're in the stall or they're tied. I can work on them in the stall without the halter if I want. So I'm going to turn her sideways a little more. But let's use that as an example. So you get to the hock. Stand still, sweetheart. And then you get to the hock, and they pick up their leg like that's uncomfortable. You back off. She just told you that's uncomfortable. Then she's gonna fight or flight. She's gonna kick you or run off. So back off until she puts her leg down and stay at that distance. So you can help her release the tension by staying out at this distance. You can help her release some tension in her hock, tendons and muscles that are pulling on the hock, hamstring muscles, for example. So you back off to where they can handle it, and then maybe you'll be able to go back in. Now she's not doing that, so that's an indication she feels okay in the hock. Now, right below the hock here, I'm getting a little twitch of her lips. But there is something that this brought up for me, is every once in a while you want to step back and take the pressure off the horse to see what they have to say. As I get down here in her, above her, between her fetlock and her hock, I get little twitches of her nose here when I get down here. So, okay. Well, I'm just above her fetlock. There we go, right above her fetlock on the left hind. And I'm being directed. Have a director. So I'll just search in this area for that spot again, or I'll just stay and see what happens. There's a little fidgeting. Don't go anywhere, Stormy. You're being really good. And then I'll continue down over the fetlock into the shavings to the ting point, which is on the coronary band right back here, and see what she says on the ting point. Now I'm on the back ting point on the heel, so I'll search around that and see what she says. Not a lot. I'll go to the front one here in the middle, in the front, see what she says. Really nothing there. Well, maybe. No, not a lot. Yeah, a little bit there on the front one. I'll stay here. See your head dropping? I'm going to stay on this one. Air gap. And then
Explain fidgeting again.
Fidgeting. Fidgeting can be anything from, the horse is standing completely still and they're blinking and they're just relaxing to all of a sudden they raise their head up. Just before they release, they'll fidget, either raise their head up. Or the fidgeting might mean the horse takes a step and walks away. Or fidgeting might mean that the horse, reaches around here. So fidgeting is a change in behavior that's it's more active than what they're doing at the time, So sometimes the fidgeting will be a very subtle thing, like she's standing completely still, and then all of a sudden her head comes up, and that's a sign that something might be about to let go, and that's a fidget. Or the fidget might be she swats at me with her leg, That doesn't usually happen if you're paying attention. Right there, I'm on it right in the front. There we go. That's what fidgeting be. Any change in, any response is any change in behavior that correlates with what you're doing. And the fidgeting is a bigger change in behavior. It usually means that something's about to let go or it's releasing. See, I'm adding a tiny bit more pressure here to where I'm not quite touching the skin, but I'm not just on top of the hair. And she was dropping her head. So she's really good at teaching how to read the subtle things, the subtle signs. Now I'll go to the ting point on the inside on the heel. And search there. Nothing there. Her stomach's grumbling. I'll go to the quarter one on the outside here. On the quarter, between the front one and the hind. Whoop, she says, see, that's a fidget.
Is it safe to be on your knees working with horses?
It's safe for me because it keeps my back from getting sore. So you have to do whatever feels safe for you. I'm going to stay on this one here. You have to do whatever feels safe for you. If you're not feeling safe here, then on your knee, then do it down, squatting down. So what I'm going to do is just take the pressure off for a second. Take the pressure off. So I do a lot of work on my knee because it saves my back. But and I've never been stepped on or run over. Part of this, the thing about this work, I'm going to let her stand over there by herself. One of the things about this work is that we're paying attention to what the horse is telling us all the time. And it's really kind of remarkable that where we put ourselves with the horse with this method, with working with the feet and legs and down low, that people don't get hurt. And they don't because they're paying attention. We're paying attention to the horse. We're paying attention. When the horse starts getting uncomfortable and pin its ears even slightly, we recognize it. So that's a pretty big, it's very helpful when you're working this close to the horse to be paying attention to the horse more than normal. So a lot of things that might look unsafe out there actually aren't that unsafe because we're paying close attention to the horse. And while I'm waiting for her to maybe talk to us, our intention is important. When we're down there with the horse working down low like that or on our knee or down, if we're worried, the horse is going to pick up on it. If you're not worried, the horse is going to pick up on it. So they pick up on your intention. So when I'm down there on my knee with the horse, that's my spot. That's my spot. And when the horse gets spooked or scared or a door slams, they don't come into my spot. They go that way because that's my spot. They just get it that that's my spot. But if you're concerned while you're down there that that's not your spot, then they're going to also recognize that that's not your spot. So you want to be confident around the horse. You don't want to be cocky. I'm going to turn her around. You don't want to be cocky and you don't want to be unsafe, but you definitely want to be confident and comfortable with what you're doing. All right? I think that's the answer to that question. But I do most of the work down here on my knee, especially with a horse this size. Rather than do the bladder meridian on this side, I might just check up on the pole on this side because a lot of horses are tight on the pole on one side or the other. In my experience, it's more often on the right pole. So we'll just see with her if there's any big difference between the left side and the right. And nope, so far, no. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on and do some movement techniques. So I'm going to do, I think I'll start with a couple scapular releases, all right? So I'm going to get in front of her here, which is another thing that, a lot of people feel like it isn't safe, but I feel safe with her, so I'll do it. Getting in front of the horse down on your knee. Step forward, get square. Want to make sure she's reasonably square. I may have the hind foot too. Can I have that foot? Come on, bring that one forward. Good. Take it back. Ass soften, ass soften. A little more. There. Hey, knock that off. That's good enough. I'm picking up her right front foot, bringing it forward. Shift her weight off of it. you know thumbs when you're handling legs. You can't use thumbs. Just cup the foot or the leg, in your hand. I'm going to support it here, off the ground. Don't get under the toe, close to the ground. Not way out forward, so I'm pulling her off balance. Straight here, and I'm going to go straight to the ground. Now I'm supporting the weight of her foot, and there's a little button inside the knee here which helps him relax right there. Helps him relax the leg and go straight down, not out. Everybody goes out the first time. Try to be not one of those, okay? Go straight down to the ground, not out. So this drops. We want this to drop. Tap the little knee button, and there we got a little drop here. Now it didn't drop all the way. I'm going to support it again. If you get uncomfortable with the larger horse, as you get close to the ground, shift under the fetlock or under the heel, and with that hand, and then go down. I want her to drop it. There, she dropped it a little farther the second time. No thumbs. There, and I'm going to give it a little wiggle. But I supported the weight of her foot, her leg all the way to the ground. And when I say no thumbs, I mean no grabbing, because we tend to grab the horse's leg. When the horse pulls away, we tend to grab. It's automatic. And the best way not to grab is not to use your thumbs, opposing thumbs. You know, no primate stuff. Do like pretend you don't have any thumbs. There we go. We got a little lick and chew there. Good girl. I'm going to turn her this way a little. Step over that way. Now, since she's really wild, I'm going to keep the lead rope with me. That's the safe thing to do if you have a horse that you don't know, so that if she does spin her rump towards you, you have the lead rope on this side, so you can. Yeah, I'm going to turn her all the way sideways. Come on around. Good girl. Her power steering is pretty good. Okay. Step back half a step. Good. Half a step. Soften right there. When you ask the horse to move, the second they shift their weight, soften. Don't keep pushing, because that confuses the horse, and that's when they keep backing or they brace. Let me have your little toe. I'll shift her weight off of it, bring it up forward, get under the foot here, up off the ground, or at the other hand here, or both hands here. Okay. Now she's pulling a little bit. When she pulls, I yield. And now that she's relaxed, I'm going to switch, go to the inside of the knee here, because it's working with her. I barely touch that. I barely touch the inside of her knee. There's a button there. It's not marked. You have to know where it is. And I'll show you where it is, and give her a little wiggle here of her scapula. See, that feels good. See her head down? For some reason, scapular releases release a lot of endorphins in the horses, if there's any tension there. Good girl. Now, I'll show you where the knee button is on the other leg. Don't go anywhere. It's right here where the knee bends here. Here's where the knee bends. It's right inside back here where the knee bends. So I'll pick up her foot. Can you have her toe again? Up. Good girl. Oh, stay up. Don't lean on it. If they lean forward and go to fall forward, put the foot down. It's right here. Okay, so I'll get her close to the ground. She's already releasing it, but as you get close to the ground, if they're holding it up, just tap that knee button gently. Just gently, just right there, right there. Good girl. There we go. Now I'm going to come out to the side a little bit on this side. Good girl. Yeah. And while I'm here, I'm going to go down and back. We face forward, and then I'll do that side so you can see. Face forward, hold under the knee and under the fetlock, not under the toe. And slowly lower the leg and bring the knee back and the toe back.
Okay, we have a question.
Yeah? Question.
Small pony, picking up the foot, where the equine will fight hard. When I'm trying to release the scapula forward, they'll actually go backward and try to drag everything in reverse. How can I get past or under this response? Can you say it again?
Yeah, so this pony, she has a small horse. When she tries to bring the foot forward, the pony starts going backwards and drags the whole party that way. So first, go down and back first, possibly. So I'll do that now, and then I'll continue to answer the question. So I'm going to go down and back. So I'm going to face forward and bring the leg back towards me. You don't hold under the toe. You hold under the fetlock here and under the knee. So I'm holding her shoulder up under the knee. And as I lower her foot and bring the knee back, there you got the drop. So the first thing I would say is go down and back. And go down and back a few times, if you can. If the horse doesn't, if you're able to do down and back first, do that. Because we always go where it's easier for the horse and then work through where it's difficult. All right? So for some reason, this pony might be tight where it makes it uncomfortable to go down and forward. So start down and back. That's one thing you can do. Let's see, she's feeling pretty relaxed. Another thing you can do is don't go way forward. Go like a couple inches forward, which I'll pretend she's really wild and going to go backwards. And so what I'm going to do with her, and ponies are easier to manipulate as long as you're gentle with them, is I'm not going to bring her foot, I'm going to just bring it forward a little bit and drop it right there. Right, wait, right there. Don't go out forward, just go here. Go close. All right, come in close. Like pretend you're going to clean her foot. Okay, I'm going to clean your foot. Oh, look, I already cleaned them. Oh, well, I'll just put your foot down. Okay, now I'm going to slide it out a tiny bit. And another thing that just came to my mind, which could be happening, is you could be bracing. You're expecting the horse to pull back, so you're going to be tense. And when you tense, the horse tenses. So you have to be conscious and aware that your shoulders and your arms are soft. Come on forward a little bit. Come on, come on. Good girl, right there. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to pretend that she's going to pull back. So what I'm going to do, give me your foot. I'm going to clean your foot. I'm going to clean your foot. Okay, I'm done cleaning your foot. Now I'm just going to bring it down. Get under the heel here. No hands. Under the heel with your fingers, and just bring it here. And get her to drop it here. Okay? No tensing, no grabbing. And if she's comfortable there, you might slide it out a little more. Now, if she's got a lot of tension here, when you set it down close, she might drop it a tiny bit and then pick it back up again. That's okay as long as you got the drop. Each time you do it, you're going to get a little more, shift her weight off of it. You're going to get a little more release out of it, even if they drop it a tiny bit and pull it back. So those would be the suggestions I'd make. And you can keep, we can have a conversation if you want to keep chatting about it. So in case you want to give me any more information. I'm going to do it again on this side. Step back. Step back. Ask, soften, ask, soften. Pretty soon you don't even have to ask. It's when we keep pushing and pulling the horse that they start to brace against us and resist it. So I want to come down and back again here. Face forward, ask for the foot. Or you can, if you're not comfortable facing forward, you can ask for it like you're going to clean it. I'm going to clean your foot. Change my mind. I'm going to turn around and do a leg release. Support it and slowly come down. We want this to drop. And then bring the foot, make sure you lower the foot and bring it back so that they can have something to put their weight on. Good girl. Okay, we're going to do a little lateral flexion. And if there were any more questions on that last one, because I know it's frustrating when the horse resists and fights what you're doing. You have to do it in a way that you don't provide any resistance. So the horse is either telling you they're confused about what you want, or they're uncomfortable with what you're doing, in which case that means you have to get them comfortable with it to release the tension. So you have to change the way you're doing something. Okay, hand on the nose, rest my finger on her little atlas, wiggle, soften, slide down, bring her around, soften, wiggle, soften. There, she started to brace and tense, so I softened before she started to pull away. So that means there's a little discomfort here. So we'll wiggle it again, soften, wiggle it again, slide down, bring her around, soften before you do anything, wiggle it again, soften, slide down, wiggle it again. As long as we're getting wiggling movement in a relaxed state, I'm going to work my way back up. Whoop, soften here, that's where she first said, and get a little more right there, soften, and ask again. I'm going to also work my way back up here in these muscles too. Good girl. And then I'm going to let her feel it. You want to feel that? And I'm going to do the right side. She's pretty wild. You're such a good girl. I'm going to do the right side. I'll turn her around so you can see. Is this a good position here? Come on over here. See, pretty soon when you ask properly, you don't even need to use pressure. I think we as humans think that we have to use pressure. We don't recognize when the horse is yielding to us, and so we keep pulling and pushing, and the horse starts to pull and push back. So stop being a human, or soften, one or the other. So maybe your little head here. There we go. Hand, thumb under the nose band, soften everything. Focus the wiggle here. I'm using egg yolk under my neck hand. If she wants to drop her head, let her do it. as long as she's relaxed doing it. If she's doing it to get away, then you have to bring her back up. She's a little more tense here, okay? So, whoa, stay here. I'll ask her to stop. Say no, yes, no, yes. Wiggle, soften before she gets uncomfortable. Wiggle again, soften just before she gets uncomfortable. Wiggle again, soften before she gets uncomfortable. Each time she's going to release a little bit of the tension. We're going to come down to here, bring her around, and I'm going to go tinier because this side's is tighter. Wiggle, soften before she braces or pulls away. She relaxes again, wiggle again. Slide down a little bit, wiggle. Now if the horse is way too uncomfortable up here, go past it. Just go past it and come on down. Coming around. It's okay if her head's down as long as she's relaxed. And I'm going to work my way back up through that uncomfortable area. Yeah, there we go. So that was a little trick. If you keep running into resistance at one place, go past it and come back up the neck after she's relaxed her head around.
If they brace against one side of the neck flexion technique, what else can you do? Or just keep doing it slowly with lots of releases?
See, she had something right here. So the first thing you remember is when they brace, soften. So every time you're wiggling through something and they brace, they're feeling it. And when you soften, they're releasing a little bit of it. So you're helping. Every time you feel and they start to brace and you soften, they're releasing a little bit of it. So ideally, you'll gradually be able to work your way through it that way. But sometimes there's more tension than the horse can release at that time. So you'll go past it. Just go past it and then bring the nose around. And then when she's relaxed around here, you wiggle back up through it. So that's one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is go to the other side and do the other side again. And go back and forth and get a little bit each time you come back to this side. Just get a tiny bit more. It's like they're really complicated. It's like a rusty hinge. You just squeak it back and forth a few times. And then she didn't like the rusty hinge analogy. But I hope that makes sense. You know, to really understand that when you run into bracing, that they're feeling the discomfort. And when you found it, you run into the brace, if you soften, they're releasing some of it. But sometimes the horse can only release so much at a time. And so after a couple of times, their nervous system needs a chance to process it. So go past it, or step back and give them a break and then come back to it. I hope that answered the question. But generally, you go to the other side first, and then you come back again. But if you keep running into the problem, give them time to release it, or go past it and come back to it. Now I'm going to go back to the other side. Oh, let's do a tongue release. So, all right, so the tongue release, the tongue attaches to the hyoid up in here, which is a little bone up in here. And it's a big, long muscle. And when there's any tension in the pole at all, the tongue release is going to help release it. So all I'm going to do is I want to get her moving her tongue a lot, in and out. So I'm going to do it by putting one hand here on the halter, not bracing, just keeping her in the neighborhood, and rest my hand on her nose and slide my thumb up on the roof of her mouth and just gently rest it there or gently wiggle it so that she starts to really work her tongue and her TMJ, her jaw. So I'm just barely touching the roof of her mouth and gently sliding my thumb back and forth, okay? That was a good suggestion. You're hired. And I'll do it for a few seconds, see? The more she does it, she's working her tongue in and out, loosening up the hyoid, and she's loosening up her TMJ. Anytime there's tension in the pole, this is going to help. I'm going to do a little more. How long do you do it? Till you feel like she's loosened up a little bit. 5 or 10 seconds. Till a commercial break. I don't know. Now let's step back. Let's walk on our knees back and see what she says. You stay right there. You just stay right there and tell us what you have to say. Stupid human. Crawling around on his knees. Who does he think he is? A horse? A pony? Okay, so that was the tongue release. It's very simple. Now the only thing you have to not do is get your thumb up here in the molars. That's the only thing you have to not do. Because sometimes the horse will try to lick your thumb up in there because they think it's food. So don't let your thumb get up here in the molars because it's really hard on their ears when you scream right here next to them. Now, an alternate way to do it, I'll keep my hand on her halter. I'm just going to put my finger under her tongue on the bars here and tickle under there gently. So there are 2 ways to do it. Right here, there are no teeth. And I'll just gently rub my finger under her tongue and get it moving some. There we go. She's starting to open her mouth a lot more. And they'll often start to yawn while you're doing this tongue release. Okay? So that's a super simple technique. And it's going to do huge, it's huge for releasing tension in the pole and the TMJ. So what I'm going to do now is come over to this side. Well, she's going to do it for me. And I'm going to do lateral flexion, and I'm going to work into the head up. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Uh-huh. Question.
Sharon found by accident that she gets releases by running her hand gently through the front armpits. What points are these and what are we releasing?
Well, the pectorals are under here. And horses use their pectorals a lot. But also if their feet are sore, they get really sore in the pectorals. So by putting, and she's probably talking about under here or from the front or the back, it's the same search, response, stay, release as you do anywhere on the horse. If you put your hand in there and just find the blink or just hold it there, if they have tension in their pectorals, they'll release it if you don't put any pressure on it. So this search, response, stay, release, you can do anywhere on the horse's body. Now the response your horse gave you sounds like it was just releasing tension. So there's tension there and you're finding it and releasing it. And it's just inside the armpit here. It can be from the front or it can be from the back. You want to be careful because horses that work a lot can be sore in the pecs, and if you just even if you don't touch them, they might think it's going to hurt and they might pin their ears. And again, this area gets sore if the feet aren't right, too. So where were we? Oh, lateral flexion.
What release will help allow the horse to salivate? We have a horse with a dry mouth. Repeat the question.
What will help the horse to salivate as far as a technique or release? I would think that the thumb release, well, the tongue release we just did would be the best for that. Other than that, I don't know, because I don't know what the cause of not salivating is. Sometimes it'll surprise you when you release tension in the pole area in general. With these techniques we're doing, sometimes you'll see changes that had to do with some tension in this area, which is super important. You know, all the nerves that go from their big brain here to the rest of the body go through here. And when anything in here gets jammed up, it can affect all kinds of things. So I'm not saying this will fix that problem. But I would focus on releasing tension in the pole and atlas and doing the tongue release. So I'm going to do a little...
Wait, one more question.
One more question. Get your hands off that pony.
The tongue release, do you do it on both sides?
Yeah, I do it on both sides. If their horse just drops its tongue out and there's no tension there, it doesn't bother them, then I'll just do it on one side. But if there's any tension at all, I'll do both sides.
Okay.
So I'm going to do... Did I do this side? I'll do this side just a little bit. Here we go. Hand on the nose. Just gently rest my thumb on the roof of the mouth. The TMJ, the joint, is right here. And you'll see it moving. See, sometimes they'll yawn as you do this, which is really good. Let her feel that. There, step back. Crawl back. Let her feel it. Normally when I step back, I step way back, way to the other side of the stall to completely take the pressure off the horse. But my knees will get sore if I keep doing that. So we're going to do a little more lateral flexion. Start with a little lateral flexion. I'm going to search down in here. Wiggle, soften, wiggle, soften, wiggle, soften, wiggle, soften. Now I'm going to put my hand under chin and lift a little bit. Take a little weight. Wait, I'm not doing it yet. I'm going to go so slowly that I catch the blink right there. Don't go past the first blink. I'm going to soften down again. I'm going to lift again. Up and out this way. You want the weight, there we go, a blink right there. So hold right there. You want some weight of the horse's head in your hand, no clamping on the nose. This is just to keep her in the neighborhood. When you find that blink, just wait. Because you're taking tension off the horse's pole by holding their head up. Okay, hold right there. Now I'm going to see if she'll relax her head down a little more. No, she stays there, but I'm going to do it again. Okay, right there. She blinked. Just wait. And I'm going to soften. I'm going to do a little more lateral flex. Well, let's see what she says about that. What do you say about that? She says, that was stupid. There we go. We'll see. Well, I always look and see if they relax behind after working on the pole. Because the atlas and the sacrum are connected, and when they release tension in the pole, if you release tension up here, they release it back there too, and you can tell if they shift weight behind, that's a sign that relaxed up there a little bit. Can I keep going, Stormy? Stormy's great. Okay, so I'm going to start with a little lateral flexion again. Okay, and I'm going to do another little head lift. I'll come up a little farther. There, she's relaxing into my hand now, and I'm going to give her a little wiggle and soften. I can go a little faster with her because she's not feeling too much up here. And come up here. I might on a normal sized horse or a large horse, one of those big old clumsy horses, have her chin in my arm, my elbow or on my shoulder, but I can't do that with her, so I'll use my hand. So I'm going to go up and down and work through the atlas, and occiput is like a ball joint, so she should be able to relax all the way through this movement and come to the side and come out. Now if I can, with my other hand, I can massage right here behind her pole. Now I got to soften a little bit. She started to get uncomfortable, so soften. Recognize it when the horse braces. You're into something and you need to back off to allow him to release it.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, question?
Doing the head up, the horse doesn't like her hand under her chin, under the
Uh-huh.
horse's chin, and they'll toss, shake air, bite, or dump a lot of, or push on her hand.
Okay.
Is that an issue, or can I work on before the head up? I've already done the multiple head downs.
Oh, you've done all the head downs, okay. Tongue release, try the tongue release and a little more lateral flexion, but she's obviously got some discomfort in her pole from that's showing up when you do the head up. Okay, back up a little, sweetie. Let me think. I'm going to get her in position while I'm thinking. Oh, babe, right there. Whoop, good spot. Now, when you put your hand under her chin, she fusses. So that's what I'm getting from the question. When you put your hand under here, then she fusses, tries to bite and everything. So there's a couple other tricks you can do. Another one is do it from here. Now, if you have a pony, that's easy. There, I'm going to do the same thing till she blinks, whoops, or gets uncomfortable. It's making her more comfortable to step on my toe. So I'm going to just try that, okay? And see what happens, and then give a little wiggle. Can I have my shoe back? Thank you. I know what you mean, because there are horses, usually you put your hand on their nose and they fuss. Some horses don't like your hand on their nose. You're saying it's under the chin that they fuss. So you might try by the nose band, and you might try, just try to do it even a little more. And the other thing I might suggest is hold, rather than put your hand here, just hold her by the halter and put your hand here, so she can't bite you as easily, because your hands are, you're going with her. So hold her by the halter, and you can twist the halter if you need to have a little bit of control. And then when she's done fussing here, give a little lift. But you have a little more control here, so that she can't reach around and bite you, and she can't do what you were describing. But the main thing is you got to go nice and slow and easy. So if you're lifting, she might have so much tension that all you need to do is lift like a quarter of an inch. And if you get a little blink or a twitch, that's where you need to stay. You don't need to get all the weight of the head the first time. So I would recommend this, so you can control her a little bit with this hand in a relaxed way. And wait till she stops fussing, and then only lift like a quarter of an inch and see what happens. And then soften down. And then ask a little more. And just before she starts to get uncomfortable, and in her case she softened her eye, stay right there and wait for her to get heavy. Don't try to go beyond that point. So I hope those things help. Tongue release and using the halter and your hand under her chin. And don't try to pick up a lot of weight all at once, because that's what's making her feel. Probably she's feeling something up there when you lift under her chin, unless she has some issues in her jaw or dental issues or something. I mean, that's always a possibility. I'm going to do it. You can ask more questions if you want, but I'm going to keep going with her. We're going to just move through some of this. This side's tighter, so I'm going to go a little bit smaller movements, not quite as high, and not quite as high as I come back, because she's got some tension in this area, which doesn't allow her chin to come up as far this way. So what I'm going to do is, while I'm doing it, I'll get a little massaging going in here between the occiput and the atlas, and down here between the first and second vertebra, and then down a little lower. See, I'm coming lower as I do her head up, and I'm combining it with a little lateral flexion. I'll use the nose band here. Now the trick that the reason she's letting me do this is because I soften the second I feel any resistance. I'll ask again. So soften, 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 soften. Give a little up here. Come in here behind the jaw. And now she's loosening up a little bit that I can ask for more movement. And down low here. Okay? So as you feel the resistance, you have to soften. Go back. We're done.
So about an hour, so you want to go to the hind end?
Yeah, so we're at about an hour. So I think I am going to go to the hind end. There is a technique I wanted to show you in case you haven't got it, because it's not in the Beyond Horse Massage book. And we've recently started teaching it on the weekend seminar. I'm going to just let her stand for a second. There are two techniques. One is the tongue release, and the tongue hyoid release. That's a new one that we've added in. And then the other is the Sacrum Float, which I'll do first behind. Now you can see she's released a lot of tension because she's standing there with her head down. I'm going to turn her around. Can you come over here and see if I can get your cute little rump aimed over at the camera? Whoop, ooh, right there. Okay. So if she'll stay there, I'm going to do the Sacrum Float. So normally we'd start with the hind end points, but this is a new one we can start with. The tail's hanging slack. The tail attaches to this. Oh, well. Yeah, and I want to make sure she doesn't step on her lead rope. You okay there, Princess? Let me just step back for a second while I describe it. So the tail is attached to the sacrum. You know, I have the sacrum and then the tail bones. What I'm going to do, if there's any tension on the sacrum, this is going to help me find it, because I'm going to watch her eyes, and I might have to, so she's not nibbling, move her again. I wonder if I can. We'll see if this is too close. So I'll bring her here. Well, babe, don't go anywhere. You stay here, okay? You're tied, all right? Stay right there. Whoop. She can reach. I don't want her to reach the food because food blocks out everything. So, and she likes food. Sorry. You can have food when we're done. Okay. This is tied to a string that'll break if things get out of hand. So, can I move your rump over a little? Good girl. Whoop. Far enough? That's a good spot. I think we're too close, probably. Are you going to be able to move back? I'll see where she ends up. Move your rump over. Good girl. Move over. Right there. Okay. Tail hanging from the sacrum. I'm going to put my hand under her tail here. Watch her ears. No, just keep it. There's no contact here. Just let it hang slack. I'm going to slowly bring her tail out till I get a definite blink. Slowly bring it out. Right there. If I'm not sure, I'll go back in again. Go back in towards her. And come back out. I want to find a sign that she's right there. It's usually not very far, right there. If you're not sure, come on out a little more, and if nothing happens, I'm out too far now.
Will you explain the technique again?
Pardon?
Will you explain the technique?
Yeah, the Sacrum Float. So what this does, if there's any tension on the sacrum, these muscles pulling on the sacrum, which torques the sacrum and torques the sacroiliac joint, which creates pain, this will find it. So while her tail's hanging completely slack, I'm going to slowly come out. Now she's blinking quite a bit because she's relaxed. So I got to find something that's a correlation between what I'm doing here and up there. Slowly come out, right there. Now she gave me a blink. I'm going to stay right there and see what happens. So this takes 2 or 3 minutes. But if what I think of this is you're finding neutral tension on the sacrum. There, she's fidgeting. So I'm going to stay right here. Don't go anywhere. If she brings her tail out, I'll ask her to relax it again. And I can't see her eye, but if I can see her ear or her head or something. Hey, princess. Hey. Actually, I think I'm on the spot. Find that spot again. Find out where she feels something. She's feeling tension on the sacrum because that she hasn't been feeling. She's blocking it out. So if I'm going to go back in and look for a blink. Well, I think it's right there because she's blinking quite a bit. She's fidgeting right here too. So I'm going to stay right at this position in that, I call it the blink zone. I'll go back. It takes 2 or 3 minutes. I'm going to find it again. Go in. Maybe right there. That's it. See, she's feeling something in her sacrum now. I'm bringing her attention to it. And that's how she's going to release it. Gotta find it again. It's in closer than I thought, I think. You can be wrong, you know, and then change something and be right afterwards. You don't have to be right every time. Out of the way, Nellie. Nellie wants the horses to move. I don't know, can you see this okay? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to find a blink again. Come out slowly. It's the fidgeting with her. When she starts to get a little bit uncomfortable, that's the position that I need to keep her tail in. And it takes 2 or 3 minutes for this to work. See, she's blinking a lot, so I can't find the spot, but she definitely gets uncomfortable when I hold her tail out at a certain place. So I need to find that place. Again, I know. It's okay. Sometimes they're not sure if you mean good or harm, so you check in with them like that. So I'll find that spot again. Now this may not look like a lot here. It's so easy to explain, it's almost impossible to explain, but you just have to find that position out from hanging slack that the horse feels something, and just keep in that area for 2 or 3 minutes. And that's what we're doing here. I'm staying at the area about where she was getting fidgety a lot. So you have to have patience with this, and if nothing happens, you move on. But this is the Sacrum Float. Don't adjust your television. We're still here. It's like the Twilight Zone. Just stay right in this area. Just keep her attention on that long enough for her body to start to let something go. And what are we looking for? We're looking for a sign of release. Her breathing's changing here, but we're looking for licking and chewing, shaking her head if she feels tingling up there, shifting weight behind, dropping one leg, some sign of releasing of tension or relaxation is what we're looking for. There's a fidget. Stay with it. Fidget means something's happening. There she goes. She's starting to let go back here. There we go. Now, I don't know if you had your stopwatches on, but I'd say that was like 2 or 3 minutes, right? Maybe a little more. But that's how long it takes for the horse's nervous system to let go, to change from guarding to releasing. There we go. So I'm going to stay a little longer just to see what happens. Now, she was blinking all the time. It was hard to find the right spot, but the giveaway for me was she got uncomfortable when I was at a certain position out. She got uncomfortable. So I'm going to come out a tiny bit more. It's not a range of motion thing. It's finding the spot where you get the horse feels something, and see if there's any more to do back here. Okay. Now she's relaxed her right hind, and she's licking and chewing. So she's releasing tension back here. So the Sacrum Float is so simple. I mean, you can do this really often with your horse if they have any issue going on behind, if they have any hock issues. Actually, anything can cause tension in the sacrum and lower back. In her case, she's on the process of losing some weight, but a very heavy horse can get sore in the back and in the lumbar area, in this area. I'm coming out a tiny bit more this way to search for another blink. I'm coming towards me. I mean, coming out towards the wall. All right? And if you're not, oh, there we got a little blink there. If you're not sure, you might have passed it, go back in towards her body. And so we'll go back in. Now we're going to come, it's completely hanging slack now. I'm going to come out and watch her eye. Or right there, her head dropped a little bit. She might be feeling something there. I'll go back in right there. Yeah, we're on the spot. I went, and right now I'm only out about that far. So that's where she's feeling it now. About.
Any tips for Sacrum Float with horses who back up to itch their tails when they feel stuff behind?
Yeah, so horses that have a lot of tension here will rub their butt, the base of their tail on something a lot. And then when you do the Sacrum Float, you kind of activate that feeling. You know, they'll feel it all of a sudden, and they'll want to back up against the wall and start rubbing their rump. All you can do is take that option away from them by tying them up in the other, put their head over in that corner of the stall, or tie them to something that they can't back up against and rub. Now the rubbing feels good and it probably is helping. They're self-massaging, but you won't be able to get this done if they're doing that. So you have to take away that option from them. Okay, now.
Is there any time that you would use another direction rather than straight back or forward?
Yeah. Next question. No, the other thing you can do is once you found that spot, like she's released a couple times from this, so you can. There, she's relaxed and she didn't know which leg to stand on now. So that's good. She's going side to side. You can gently traction the tail or compress the tail, and she'll tell you which one to do, or if neither one is the option. So, and I mean, when I say traction, I mean like egg yolk traction. I don't mean mechanically pull, because if you mechanically pull, the body mechanically pulls back, and you have no relaxation and no release. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out and find a spot that she's kind of hard to read. Right there, okay? Now I'm on that spot and I'm waiting for something to happen. It's working more now that she's starting to let go. See her eyes blinking her head. Now I'm going to gently traction downward her tail, egg yolk. I'm just doing egg yolk down. And see what she says. Now I think she's feeling that, so I'm going to stay in that. I'm gently tractioning down, and I'll keep in that position and keep it gently traction down and see what happens. You just have to wait and see what happens. Now if there was no response, she gave me a little response. She kind of, this is a response. I'm gently tractioning her tail, and she's giving me there's a little change in behavior right there. I'm finding the level of traction and the right position and holding it. And wait and see what happens. Now the other option is compressing. Now you can try side to side, going side to side. I don't normally find a lot in that. And I'm gently compressing up. Not grabbing her tail. I'm holding it like a really overripe banana. Okay? And gently go upwards, egg yolk. And I got a little response there too. Some horses will give you a lot more response when you compress it, or some will give you more when you traction it. They tell you what they need. And it might change. It might change after 5 minutes. You might try doing something that you did 5 minutes ago, and now they're responding to it. So the answer to that is yes, what works best for me is compression and traction. Side to side, you can experiment with it. I don't normally get a lot side to side, but you might. Experiment with it. Her tail won't come off. You won't hurt her.
The way you're holding the tail, you had originally taught just to use the hairs on the top of the tail. So now, will you explain?
No. This is the way we do it. The only time you hold the hairs is if they're so sensitive here that they're going to kick you.
Well, you were used to.
Yeah, I did. If you put your hand under here and they kick you, then use the tail, the hairs. But this isn't the way I start doing it. I only do this as an option if they're too uncomfortable to put your hand under here, which they can be. They can be so sore in the hamstrings in this area that you put your hand under there and they pin their ear and kick you. So you can do it by holding the tail. Like she's got a nice long tail. If she were kicking if she were threatening to kick every time I put my hand under here, then, and I know she needs it then. I know she definitely needs it. So I would come out here as far away from the kick zone. At least she feels safer with me out here. And I would gently lift until I got a blink or some sign.
Can you talk about any Psoas releases?
I'm gonna talk while I'm doing this. So let me see if I can find that where she will drop her head or right there. And she's relaxing behind, so she's going back and forth behind. So the psoas muscles attach under the lumbar spine in this area. Okay, they're really deep. They're down here, and then they go under the pelvis and inside the femur. So or even lumbar soreness, you just search for responses in this area. All right, and it works best when the foot is relaxed. So she's relaxing the right hind. So I'm going to search in this area. Right there, okay. I got a definite blink there. And it's really simple. It's such a simple, you just have to have patience and pay attention to the horse. And this, to release those deeper core muscles takes even more time. It might take 3 or 4 or even 5 minutes. So I'm going to search around again. It could be anywhere from here all the way back to here. So I'm going to search right there as one, so I can come back to that. It's interesting that the lighter you go, the deeper the horse feels it. And I'm getting responses right here at the sacral lumbar junction that we got on the bladder meridian. So I'm going to come back up here to this area, right in here, okay? Like anywhere from T17 back. And stay there. Now she's resting her right toe, so you're just going to have to stay here. Hey, I said wait 3 or 4 minutes. She's not listening. But I'm going to stay longer. Stay right there, and I'm barely touching the hair. There we go. Now, if she switches legs, I'll switch sides again. Okay, I'm going to search on this side. And then if she switches legs again, I'm going to go back over to that side. You build psoas credit. You don't lose it. So we're going to start up here around T17 and slowly come back.
Why are you using the side where the leg is relaxing?
Because that's how it works.
They don't hear the question.
Oh, why are you using the leg that's relaxing? Because that's how it works. It works better, you know. And the only reason I know it works better is because I've done lots of horses, and I know what gets the releases, and right here. And I know the feedback from the owners after doing it one way or not doing it one way. But one of the psoas muscles attaches inside the femur, so with the leg relaxed has something to do with it. It probably shortens the muscle a little bit with the leg relaxed. So I'm just inventing all that because I don't have X-ray muscle vision. Now she's starting to fidget here. But it does mechanically make sense. But that's not why I do it. I do it because that's what gets the responses and the releases and the results right in here. So this side she's a little more unsure about it. Oh, right in here, yeah. Okay, we're zeroing in. See, it's a whole language, you know. It's a whole new body language on a really subtle level. Horses are even more subtle than this, you know, in their body language between themselves. They just have to change their feeling, you know, and the other horses they recognize it in their body language. They just have to, but you know, if you get used to paying attention to these subtle signs, any change in behavior that correlates with what you're doing, it means the horse is feeling something there. It might be the lip twitching, it might be her right ear's twitching a little now and she's shaking a little bit, or it might be blinking. It's just any subtle change that correlates with what you're doing, and you can kind of see when it correlates by moving your fingers around. Okay, now we're going to go back to that side. She's switched legs. So this is areas to help release muscle tension in the psoas in the core muscles. So.
Can you address working on the front end and having like the horse rub his butt or in the back end?
Same thing. Pole and atlas and sacrum. When you release tension up here. When you release tension up here, hey sweetie, they feel it in the sacrum. There's some connection, and it's a behavioral connection, but it's also, I think, in energy work. So you'll be working up there, and they'll back up and start rubbing their butt because they're feeling tingling or something back here. Same thing happens sometimes with the sacrum float. You're doing the sacrum float, and they shake their head because they're feeling something up there. I'm going to do leg releases on her. Are you ready for some leg releases? Now there's other hind end points. You know, we have 6 hind end points, sacrum float, behind. But I'm not going to do the other points. I'm going to move on to the leg releases. Okay? You all right with that, sweetheart? How am I going to position myself? I'm going to move her rump over. Can you move your rump over, sweetheart? Come on. Let me back here. There we go. Whoop, good spot. Don't go anywhere. That's good. I'm going to do this leg because I'll be in the way there, but you'll be able to see through under her. So I'm going to kneel here, face backwards, stay in close to the horse. Don't pull the horse leg out. Ask for her foot. No thumbs. Just ask for her foot. Squeeze. Bring it up under the fetlock and get under the toe up off the ground. Don't get under the toe close to the ground because sometimes they just put their foot right down right away. Once they're up here and their leg is cocked, you can feel before they put their foot down. So I'm going to hold right, not way up high, towards the midline, and it's straight down from her stifle on my side. Not way forward, just straight down from her pelvis and her stifle. We want to go straight down. Wait till she gets heavy. Well, she's not going to get heavy, but her pelvis is now dropping. So I'm going to slowly come down with her foot. Straight down, not forward. When you get close to the ground, as long as you're not pulling her off balance, then she's going to relax her leg down. But when you get close to the ground, you can lift under here. No thumbs. Go under there and continue straight down. Okay? The goal of this technique is to drop the pelvis. It's not to get the foot on the ground. Now, if they have trouble relaxing this down, it's because of tension up here. So you have to go slower, or you have to go back and forth, or you have to come up and do more points, and then do the leg release again. But if they can't relax the leg down, it's because they're feeling tension up here. So the best thing to do is come up and do more points, and then do it again, but go slower. Come here, sweetheart. Can you see me in here? Because I can move her over. I'll move her over. Okay. Good girl. Make sure the horse is standing reasonably square. You don't want, when she's standing all cockeyed, to have her on 3 legs, and make sure she's away from that wall. Because if she needs to move, then you want to have she needs to have room to go that way. Because like I said, if this is my spot, she'll go that way. If she needs to move, give me your toe. Come here. Get it up off the ground. Get under the toe, and then don't come out to the side. Stay in where you're touching the horse. There. See her relaxing her pelvis. See, it's dropping. So I'm going to continue straight down. This foot should be in a line with her pelvis, or her stifle, not way forward, and go straight down to the ground. Now she's feeling a little bit of something there as I drop her pelvis. So go nice and slow. I'm going to slide my fingers around to the inside of her hoof, because I'll be able to do this. If right now she wanted to put her foot down, you just let go. You let go. You don't try to hold her foot up if they have to put it down. Good girl. Now we'll just let her rest there. Good girl. I'll kind of get out of the way so we can see her face. I'll sneak away. Let her rest there. That's yoga. Om, nicker, nicker, nicker. Good girl. And just let her rest there a second. And then I'm going to do down and back. Okay. It's okay. Okay, princess. Let's do the other side down and back. Good girl. Whoop. Oh, well, that's good. You stay right there. Don't worry about the dogs. Now, this isn't the safest place to do it because she has no room to go that way, all right? So, pardon? Yeah, I'll move her rump out just a little bit. Now, I'm not worried about her, but I don't want to... There we go. Far enough. Good. Now she has room to go away if she needs to go away. Give me a little... Oh, we're going to go... Now, what we're going to do here is it's just like if you're cleaning the foot. Just do like you're going to clean her hoof. And we'll tie this up. I forgot my scissors. So we're going to tie this up here.
Does the pelvic technique also address the stifle?
Well, it does help relax the stifle. The best stifle technique are the stifle points, inside the stifle. And that's in the Beyond Horse Massage book and DVD. It's just inside the knee. And you don't even have to know right where it is. It's different on different horses. Just take 3 fingers and search inside the stifle. I'll do it on this side on her. You won't be able to see it because she's small, but I'll search. Put my fingers inside of her stifle with like 2 or 3 fingers and search for a blink. But that's the stifle points in here help release tension in the stifle and the groin muscles. You can also search on the outside of the stifle for points. If a horse has sore stifles, you can search on the outside, especially if you can't get on the inside because it's too uncomfortable for the horse. Search, because the stifle, there's a lot of soft tissue involved with stifles. There's a lot of muscles. There's a lot of ligaments. I'm going to stay right there. Whereas on the hock, there isn't, you know, and there's a lot more movement in the stifle. So that there isn't in the hock. So you can actually do a lot to help stifles stay healthy by helping them continue to help them release tension in the stifle with the stifle points on the inside and on the outside, right here, right there. See, that's where she's feeling it. So that's what I would recommend for stifles.
My horse regularly stands with one hind leg at the midline of the body in front of the standing hind leg. Does this indicate soreness of the hind end?
So regularly stands with one leg more than the other? Probably. Yeah, your horse regularly stands with one leg resting like this. Well, when they rest across the midline, usually these adductor muscles or inside muscles and groin muscles are tighter. It doesn't mean necessarily that they're sore. It just means the muscle isn't as flexible. So it's not an indication that there's anything wrong or with the horse. Now, if they don't do the other leg as much, that's an indication of an imbalance in that tension. So you can help to start release that imbalance in the tension with the hind end points and with these leg releases. So, but I wouldn't say that just standing like that all the time is a sign of the horse is uncomfortable behind. The horse is standing in the way that's most comfortable for them. But usually if they come across like this or like this behind, it's because those muscles are less flexible through repetitive motion. It doesn't necessarily mean they're sore. Doesn't mean they're not sore. If you palpate and poke up there and they pin their ears, then they're sore. Otherwise, it's just a restriction. It's just shortened muscles. Okay. Now, if the horse only does one side, then it's a sign something's imbalanced up here. It can be from a past issue. It can be from a lot of things. But whenever you see something like that, you know, you think, well, there's an imbalance somewhere. Longer muscles on one side than the other, more sore muscles on one side than the other. Then you want to do some more exploring and see if you can find out what lets go, what the horse tells you letting go. So I'm going to take her hind foot like I'm going to clean it. I'm going to clean your hind foot. Give me a little hind foot. Support it like I'm going to clean it. Cleaning it. Now, I'm changing my mind. I'm just going to support it here and go straight down. And keep the weight as much as you can. You always face backwards doing the hind end. You always stay in close to the horse, you know. And slowly hold the weight as you drop it straight down. Now, the idea isn't to go way out here. The idea is to get the horse to drop the pelvis in the down and back position. Okay. Now she feels something there. I'll pick up the weight again. And when she relaxes into my hand again, I'll go down. And I'll go slower. You don't want to do these facing forward. Don't do both hind legs are always you're facing backwards. And if I can get her to rest her toe here, and I'll just keep my hand there so that she knows I want her to stay. Now if that's where she's comfortable, that's where I'll stop. I'll go. And then when she relaxes there a bit, I might be able to get her to relax down and back a little further. While she's here, the hamstring's going to be relaxed. I can gently stroke the hamstrings and get some circulation going in the hamstrings. I can gently wiggle it if she's okay with that. It's relaxed movement in a relaxed state releases tension. If you wiggle it and it's too much for the horse and they pick up their leg, then don't wiggle it. The longer she stays here, the better. I mean, you know, within reason. So I'll keep my hand here, fingers here, just to let her know that I'd like her to stay there. So we're getting the pelvis to drop with the leg down and back. It's not a stretch to get the leg out. Okay, princess? Let me let her feel that. We're going to do the other side. There we go. If you do these properly, meaning slowly and holding as much weight as you can, which, you know, takes practice, and actually small horses are the best to practice on for the leg releases, because you can get it's just better to practice with small horses, and then it's going to be easier to work on large horses. Take half a step back. Another half. Front foot, good. We'll do this leg, down and back. I'll try to stay out of the way. Give me a little toe. I'm going to clean your foot. Okay, change my mind. Now, they pick up on your intention. So if you have your intention is I'm just going to clean your foot, and they're used to it, they'll do it. And then as soon as you get the foot, you can change your mind. They don't care. They don't hold it against you. Now, she's getting heavy, so I'll slowly come down. I'm keeping, in close to her, my head in close to her body. Now she's feeling something there, so I'm going to pick up the weight again. This side, she's feeling something as I come down through it. Straight down. Right about there, she's kind of, it's not dropping anymore. So I'm going to let her now she has to switch legs, let her switch legs. But right about that point, she wasn't able to relax down through that. So I'll let her feel that. Every time they feel that, they're releasing a little bit. And then I think after this, we're going to wrap it up because it's been a while for her and us. I'm going to have her step back again. While I'm doing this again, I'm going to talk about what we're going to be doing. Actually, tomorrow, we're going to be, it's not a live event, we're going to be recording, I'm going to be working on a little mini who has some hind end issues. And we've been talking about our membership program. I want to turn the rump a little towards you so you can see what's going on. And I think we're going to have this ready to go by December. We're going to have a 2-tier membership learning program. It's going to be an online learning program. And we're going to be playing videotapes of these bodywork sessions, let her get comfortable, bodywork sessions on horses with different issues. And we're going to, on the first level membership, it'll be just like this. We're going to, when we can do live events, we will, but often we can't do live events if we're at a barn that doesn't have internet. Move your foot again. We're going to record the sessions. We're going to send them out to you, the members of the first level. We're going to give you a link to the video. And then we're going to play it again as a live replay. So that you can, whoop, she feels it. See on the left hind, there's an imbalance here. So she's feeling something when she drops the left hind that she wasn't feeling on the right. So I'm going to let her feel that again. I'm going to go down and forward again, and I'll keep talking. So the first level of the membership is for anybody can be on a first level, and it's going to be reviewing these bodywork sessions and answering questions. So again, I'm going to go forward this time and then go down and back. And then the second level of the membership is going to be for people that have done the weekend workshop seminar or the Beyond Horse Massage Home Study course. And they'll be eligible to join the second level of membership. And what we're going to do is break down techniques. So for example, this first month, we're going to do lateral cervical flexion. And there's an hour-long breakdown, playing in slow motion, step by step. We have some students asking questions during that playing of the video. And we're going to break down a new technique each month, step by step. And that'll be for the people that have already done the weekend seminar or the Beyond Horse Massage course. So if you wanted to do the second level membership, you can do the Beyond Horse Massage Home Study course. And you can do it concurrent too. You won't have to do it and complete it and then join. You can do it as you're doing the home study course. So that'll be the level of memberships, 2 levels of memberships. We'll be going on after that at some point for a level of membership for people that have done the advanced 5-day course or are Masterson Method certified practitioners. Because we're also working on an advanced home. I'm going to do this side again, sweetie. I'm going to do this side. And then I'm going to do down and back again over there. So we're working also on an advanced 5-day home study course for people that have done the advanced 5-day course or are MMCPs. So that will probably develop into a 3rd level. But right now we're going to have the first level available to anybody, and then we're going to have the second level available. Pick up again here to Beyond Horse Massage home study course or weekend people. So during this whole COVID thing, we have 2 questions, but during this whole COVID thing, we've been busy. So as busy as usual without a COVID. There we go. So I've gone back and forth a couple times to get her pelvis to start moving evenly both sides. Her pelvis dropped farther on the right side when I first did it, and I noticed doing the left side it wasn't dropping as far. And so there's a little imbalance there. So that's probably has something to do with why she can't go down and back as easily on the left side. So what were 2 questions?
I have 2 rescue minis with very poor leg conformation. Will this help them stay sounder longer?
Oh, I would say yes. Because conformational issues or any other issues create compensation tensions patterns in the body, and this helps to keep those compensation patterns, they're not balanced. It keeps them from building up to the point where it becomes a bigger issue. So I would say yes.
And there's another one. When I clean the back foot, he always pulls his foot forward with tension. What should I do to help him?
Yeah, so that's a sign that there's some that it bothers him. Obviously, that's a sign it bothers him. So the more you can do points and these techniques, then I would say the more it's going to help the horse. These psoas points in this area I was talking about, often has to do with not being able to go down and back, or under the tail points. Under the tail points have to do with horses that have difficulty going down and back, and with farriers will have problem. And you'll come and do the Sacrum Float and under the tail points, and often they'll see a difference in it. Now, that's not going to be the same on every horse. They may not, but those are the things you want to do to help with that problem. Step over that way a little more. We're going to go down and back one more time over there.
Where do I find info on the Beyond Horse Massage courses?
Oh, funny you should ask that. On our website, mastersonmethod.com.
Under courses?
Under courses, yeah. The Beyond Horse Massage Home Study course.
And how will they know that the membership is available?
We're going to announce it if you're on our newsletter list. And on Facebook, everywhere we can, we're going to announce it. So if you're on our newsletter or on Facebook, we'll announce that the membership program is done and running. So, okay, sweetheart.
The Facebook Live will now be done there.
Yeah, and these Facebook Live events will be done on the first level of membership, and it's not going to be expensive. We haven't figured out what it's going to cost now because we haven't finished putting it all together. But my goal is always to make this stuff accessible. You know. I would rather have 1,000 people doing it and have it cost less than have 500 people doing it or 100 and have it cost more. So I'm always trying to do it, make it accessible to people, because I want everybody to learn this, not just for the horse's benefit, and because that's what we do. Let me have your little toe, sweetheart. I'm going to go down and forward one more time on this side and then go down and back again. So I'm going back and forth and trying to work towards the problem. So don't just keep repeating the one that's difficult. After the second or third time, if they can't do any technique, move on or go to the other side and then come back to it. There, she feels it right there. And she released a little bit when she feels it. And then we're going to try down and back one more time. And if I can't get her to do it really relaxed down and back, I'm going to stop there because her body is going to needs time to process what she's already released, okay? She's already starting to want to be done with it because the nervous system gets overloaded. You're getting more done than you think you are with this. So down and back one more time, sweetie, and then we're going to... Okay. Okay, can we go down and back? And you also notice she stopped in this position quite a few times. Even earlier on, she stopped in this position with her left hind back like this. So she was already feeling something letting go in here. And so for me, just to let her stand like that for a little while, you'll notice that the horse will stop. It's not a coincidence if they stop 3 times with the left hind back. It means they're feeling something up there, and that's how they're going to help relax it, is in that position. Do it one more. Hey, one more. She's getting about done anyways. We'll do it one more time. And then I'll do a little lateral rocking, and then we're going to call it good. But anyways, keep an eye on Facebook and on our newsletter if you're on our newsletter list, it'll be announced the membership program. Rest down and back. Just rest. We'll start resting down without even picking it up and see if she can relax it there. I don't know if you can see. Just a little longer, can you? One more time? Can you do one more time? No, that's all we're going to get out of the down and back on that side. But I'm just going to let her nervous system's going to keep processing it, and we'll see if she can do it again in a few days, if she's able to do it. So, can I do a little lateral rocking, sweetheart? Hey, head up. I'm going to do a little lateral wiggling, just a tiny bit. No food yet. No food yet. She's getting antsy, so I think we're going to call it good now. And this was a good one. She was perfect. Just perfect, aren't you? You're perfect. You already know that, don't you? There, she needs to release it. When they won't let you touch them, it's because their nervous system is overloaded. It's time. They've got to process. So you want to process, don't you? So anyways, we'll see you on what this recording will be on Facebook, and you can see it on Facebook and on YouTube. So, yeah, she needs time to release, so I'll just ignore her. And we'll see you hopefully on the membership first level or second level, where we'll do a lot more. Thanks.